Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
What has your attention the most right now? What's taking up the most of your focus?
Well, it was my birthday weekend, so that I really didn't focus on anything else. My kids were, hey.
Attaboy.
We went to a Pirate game. They cooked me dinner. I mean, there's nothing better than that. And then, I think last week the thing that scared everybody was Joe Burrow's calf injury. That's about training camp right now.
How could you miss that, though? And you reside in that AFC North division, so I expect Joe will be back. He had appendicitis 2 training camps ago, ended up in the Super Bowl. But I will ask you this. I know what a huge fan you are of Lamar Jackson, and he got the bag. Is that what they're saying? He got the bag in the offseason. Are you the believer that he is the number 1 quarterback in the National Football League? If not, whom?
Well, I mean, I think you can't deny Patrick Mahomes being the number 1 guy right now. I mean, for everything that he's done. And other guys are getting the bag as well. Look what Justin Herbert just got, But I was happy for Lamar. I think he deserves it. I think all those guys, when you can get your money, go and get it. And, now you just got to go out and prove that you're worth that, right? And we've seen guys get the money and not show up, and we've seen guys get the money and continue to play really well. So it's going to be another exciting football season. I don't care who you're a fan of. There's a lot of hype around every team, and I think the NFL just does an incredible job of promoting its brand and its business.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Your take on Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers before we get into these CFL things.
Sean Payton doesn't do or say anything unless it's intentional. What's the reason? Is it to give Russell Wilson a scapegoat? But Aaron Rodgers did come out, you're right, and say, defended his coach. He said he had him in Green Bay, maybe the most fun, favorite coach he's ever had.
I think football coaches all have a type, and I think they're calculated in everything that they do. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Brand new day. It is episode number 1051 of your favorite daytime sports talk show, coming at you live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in Calgary. Great to be here in this business. Great to be anywhere, quite frankly. We're on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live. And I'm here. Darren Moose DuPont is at the World Little League Series, I believe, in the sweatpants capital, otherwise known as the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. Looks like a beautiful day there. Moose, I apologize. Is it a little dark where I'm at right here? Do I need to fix my lighting? You tell me.
Maybe a tad dark, but not terrible. I like it.
I'll get on it. We got a lot of things going on here today. And I'm going to tell you right now, before we go any further, the text line is open. It's brought to you by EMJ Marketing. EMJ Marketing, providing the right keynote speaker for your event. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com today. Coming up on the program, we have, yes, can I help you, sir? Yeah, okay. Don't let that thing fall down. Yeah. See what I said?
And
our hockey analyst, Sarina. Yeah, we're off. How do you like us so far? Gong. Our hockey analyst, Sarina Taylor, is here. She's going to be joining us in hour 1. Famed NHL super pest Matthew Barnaby a little later on in hour 1, too. And in hour 2, Grey Cup champion with the BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders, and former Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver Ryan Thelwell is going to be with us. So that's hockey, football, hockey, going back and forth. That's the deal. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director Jordan, and then we will get down to business. I tell you what, we're opening with baseball because we were watching it. Did you think the Blue Jays were going to pull off the impossible in Game 1 of this huge 4-game series at Rogers Center? It looked like it last night against Baltimore, but Austin Hayes made a lunging, game-saving catch of Whit Merrifield's 9th-inning liner, and the American League best Baltimore Orioles held on to knock off the Blue Jays 4-2. Gunnar Henderson homered for the Orioles, while Ryan Mountcastle doubled twice and drove in 3 runs as the Orioles maintained their game-and-a-half lead over Tampa in the AL East. Jay shortstop Bo, son of a bichette, left the game with a knee injury. Stole it from Tim McAuliffe. It's not mine. The Jays and Orioles play again today in Toronto. We're moving on from there. We're not the Blue Jays show. Moose is only with us for one segment. He wants to talk football. The big news yesterday, it came down just before we went to air, came with the Edmonton Elks from the Canadian Football League. We're very big in Edmonton, the analytics say. We've got a big audience there. And yesterday, their offensive coordinator, Stephen McAdoo, was replaced by Jarius Jackson. The quarterback's coach has become the offensive coordinator of Edmonton. They're on a bye right now. They've immediately changed quarterbacks. So it's going to be the youngster Deggy. Jarrett Deggy starting their next game. So our poll question, Moose, is this, which is brought to you daily by Key Auto Group. With the Key Auto Group, most vehicles receive a lifetime engine warranty guaranteed. Go to keyautogroup.ca/the Key Advantage for eligibility and maintenance requirements. The Key Auto Group, here to take care of you. So they're 0-8. They made a coaching change. I thought it would be a fun poll question today. We've kicked this around a little bit. What's the problems? The biggest problem with the Edmonton Elks, is it A, the board and executive, which would be my vote, yes. 2, the Eskimo curse, i.e. changing the name from Eskimos to Elks. They haven't won a home game since. It's been 21 games and counting. Point 3, is it coaching or is it talent? And it's been a very interesting response from people, Moose. Again, I'm voting for the executive and the board because it starts at the top. As I look on Twitter right now, and you can also vote on YouTube as well, coaching is leading the way. 44% says coaching's the biggest problem with the Elks. 34% say talent. They're just not that good. 12% say the Eskimos curse. And 10% say the board. What are you saying?
I'm probably leaning towards talent at the end of the day. And it's a combination. Honestly, I think it's a combination of everything. No, I'm not on the Eskimo curse bandwagon, by the way, but I am with you on the old, the board and the old regime. I feel like they're still paying for the sins of the past, and they really have to undo a lot of issues inside that organization. And I think it's going to be a long and painful process. But when you're not winning games, it comes down to the people on the field, on the sidelines. Who do you have? And who do you not have? And we've seen the mistakes. I mean, Taylor Cornelius, there's no doubt he's an athletic talent, but he's making mistakes. And when you're making mistakes like that, you're not going to win ball games. It's going to be tough. We'll see if Jarius Jackson and this quarterback change can help reignite this offense, which has been pretty stale.
It is clearly a combination of all of them, but this reminds me a lot. And I mean, they made a quarterback change, they've made a coaching change, and you just wonder when they come out for their next game, are they going to win the next game? I would put probably my odds on that they will, because what do they call it? The PETA people won't like this, but the dead cat bounce. Coach gets fired, and the team wins. They go on a bit of a spike for the next couple of games. Maybe that'll happen with the Edmonton Elks. But, and we talked about the curse of the Bambino. There is such a thing as curses. I believe that. I'm not sure that this is the thing here. And people are writing in from Edmonton saying, don't say it's the Eskimo curse because they were bad before they changed the name. No, they had won 14 Grey Cups under the name Edmonton Eskimos, made the playoffs for decades in a row consecutively as Eskimos. So I'm not going to move totally away from that. But overall, the board was the one that allowed that to happen, to change the name. They shouldn't have done that. And it all starts at the top all the time. By the way, our CFL coverage is brought to you in part by Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beer. Check them out at sobercarpenter.com. Point 3, as we move to the NFL, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin says he's put aside his fear to find joy after practicing in pads Monday for the first time since going into cardiac arrest during a game last season. The practice at training camp marked the next step in his pursuit to resume playing in the NFL. Hamlin collapsed and needed to be resuscitated on the field in January. He was actually initially cleared to go back playing back in April, but I guess he didn't. He's obviously been training. He wasn't playing football then. He did Monday for the very first time. What a hell of a story, and I hope, we all hope, that he will get back on the field and starting in the defensive secondary for the Buffalo Bills. To be honest, I didn't think he'd come back. I don't have a lot of history with people that have gone into cardiac arrest, certainly not professional athletes. He's got this far. Why would we not think that he would come back and play?
Yeah, I think he will, and I agree. I think, this is a great story, and, to go through what he went through, and we all saw it, and we, saw him in the hospital. We've seen the photos and all the prayers. It was such a heavy moment in the National Football League and just in sport and life in general, and it's a symbol for, overcoming obstacles and continuing to stick with it. It's not just, about recovering physically and being able to get on the field. You said, and, the fear, overcoming the fear. Like, once you've gone through that, like the fear of this could happen at any moment would be really tough. But good for him. Yeah, he must be in a great mental place, and that's awesome to see.
Just checking in from the audience, David Cooper writes in, he says, Eskimos, they destroyed a history/lineage of a great franchise, all in the name of PC politics. The left, the cancel culture won in that case, and now the team is not. So like I say, I'm not saying that's the reason, but I'm not saying it's not the reason either. You know what I'm saying? Richard Holdridge writes in from the Sports Beat. I got to mention this. Richard Holdridge writes in, he says, what's going on? WQEE family, Richard Holdridge. I will be on his show immediately following ours today. What did I tell you, Moose? We're very big in Atlanta and Columbus, Georgia. I can't believe it. It's very hard to believe. Talking to Richard yesterday, he goes, what do you always say on your show? Who has more fun than us? I'm like, you're listening? He's paying attention down there in Columbus, Georgia. I'm going to be on his show later today. He's going to be on our show on Thursday, and we're going to talk NFL, college football, and whatever else comes up. So it's somewhat hard to believe. It is and it isn't, I told you the text line's open, 902-518-3033. I do want to, before we get to Jonathan Taylor and the NFL running back club, how about this? This is from this morning. SpongeBob and Slime Time are coming to the Super Bowl. The NFL and CBS announced this morning that this season's Super Bowl will have a kids-centric presentation on Nickelodeon, marking the first time the Super Bowl has had an alternate telecast on another channel. The Nickelodeon presentations have also received plenty of acclaim for their ability to introduce a younger age group to the basics of the game, but also focused on the action happening on the field to keep parents interested. And some of those include eye-popping graphics, of course, the slime-filled end zones, SpongeBob SquarePants between the goalposts when they attempt a field goal. So you can watch the Super Bowl on Nickelodeon with all of that. Wonderful move, I think. I can't imagine anybody would give this the thumbs down.
No, I don't think so. I think it's great. But the thing for me, it makes my mind think, because I think, correct me here, the Super Bowl's on CBS this year. But Joe Buck and Troy Aikman went to ESPN because I think they get it next. I think they're next in the rotation. So it makes me wonder, is this the gateway to having a Manning cast of the Super Bowl, an alternate feed on ESPN? Will we see the Mannings doing their thing during the Super Bowl? I mean, it's just fun that they're trying new creative ways to evolve the presentation of the game.
Absolutely. 902-518-33, the number to text into the program. It's a whole new world, Moose, in the broadcast industry. If you haven't paid attention, everybody, get in the fast lane, Granny, because the bingo game's about to roll. And there are some people that just, they're not getting in the fast lane. So don't. But you're definitely going to get left behind. Now, before the NHL talk, we'll get to that with Sarina. That's why she's here. And Matthew Barnaby later on in hour one. CFL talk with Ryan Thelwell in hour two. And the Canadian Elite Basketball playoffs begin Friday night. Doubleheader, play-in games. We'll talk about that later. But you did mention you wanted to talk NFL, more NFL. And so Jonathan Taylor's requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts. So what? He met with for an hour with the owner, Jim Irsay, the other night in his trailer at Colts training camp. Can you imagine what that trailer's like? I feel like it's not quite like the Winnebago that we grew up in, but I digress. He goes, I'm worth more. I want more. Taylor's going, we're not paying you more, and we're also not trading you. He's come out and requested a trade. It's not new. It's not new. And I don't know where you are. I immediately thought of this. We used to sit around as radio announcers and get pissed off at the management making all the money and the salespeople making all the money. We're the talent. We're the product. They're selling us. We could still be sitting there talking about it because nothing's changed. You know, it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
So quarterbacks' salaries are swelling to an unheard of degree. Somebody's going to have to pay. And it's the running backs. And I get that Jonathan Taylor, we didn't even have him in our poll as the top 4, but he would be right on the cusp, right, of our top 4. He maybe should have been in that conversation. How do you feel about the fact NFL running backs had a Zoom call this week about forming their own union? I think it's ridiculous.
It is a little ridiculous. I like that they're thinking about it and they want to value themselves, but here's what's happened all the time. When running backs in that spot, which they typically have a shorter career, when they take a year off and hold out and play hardball, it's very rare that they come back better than ever and win that and go on to a long career. What ends up happening is you lose a really great earnings year, and you never become the same player. Look what happened to Le'Veon Bell. There's a number of examples. It happens. It's evolution in sports. Here's what some of our viewers will, and you especially. Remember Chris Zarka, the Riders? How many touchdowns did he have that 1 year? Like 33, right? From the fullback spot?
Quite a few, Jim. Yeah.
When's the last time a fullback has done that, right? That was kind of the end of the fullback. And I'm sure fullbacks were, upset that the position was being phased out and the money was being phased out, because it was good at one point or another. Well, the game is changing. It's all about passing now. It's all about being multi-dimensional. And the running backs are easier to replace, so the money is just not going to be there. It sucks for those who are in the spot, but it's the evolution of the game.
Yeah, and in my industry, those that tried to start a union got fired, got shown the door. So it's not that I don't have sympathy. I'm not anti-union, believe me, I'm not. I probably wish that we'd had one over the years. And to simply say, don't you make enough money? That's what John Q. Public's saying, and I understand that, and I have time for that argument too. But I also get this is what I'm worth, this is market value. It's an interesting discussion. Nelson says, what's the old saying? Running backs are a dime a dozen. Great, you want more money? You don't want to pay that? We'll go find another. That's the way that it's going to end. And Jim Irsay's, for whatever reason, I don't get, so many guys are getting trampled on for saying the truth. Like Irsay said, what did he say? The NFL's a machine? I could die tonight. Jonathan Taylor could leave the league and it'll keep going. We used to say this about the Pats. Look at the Rough Riders. The one specific thing with the Pats, when I worked for the team, one of the staff said, it's a train. The locomotive keeps running. It stops, people get on, people get off, but the train keeps going. Nobody's bigger than the league.
Great analogy.
Yeah, he goes, the train
great.
keeps going. Do you want on? You want to be part of this, or do you not want to be part of this? Because we're going to play no matter what, Jonathan Taylor. So, anyways, we're pretty much out of time. We're going to switch over to hockey right after this. Any last words before you go do your thing?
No, it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to the rest of it, and you can enjoy a great Calgary day.
Thank you. Sarina Taylor next. Matthew Barnaby on the way. Ryan Thelwell in hour 2. And I should mention, we're going to be giving away a pair of tickets. It might actually be 2 pairs of tickets to the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argonauts Friday night at McMahon Stadium. A little later on in the show, I'm going to give you a keyword. What you need to do with that is go to Instagram, follow Century Downs on Instagram, and enter the keyword in their comments to be entered for the draw to go see the Stampeders and the Argos in Canadian Football League action Friday night as we bring together harness racing and football together. Worlds colliding, Jerry. But it's all hockey next with our hockey analyst, Sarina Taylor. We'll be right back to Century Downs, Racetrack and Casino after this timeout on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
And we are live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association World Championships here August 23rd to the 27th. You can get your tickets right now at showpass.com. We didn't totally wind up the football talk. Carlos in Indianapolis watching, he says, was it on this show where someone said you may love the game, but the game does not love you? Yeah, that hasn't changed. Ryan in New York State says Le'Veon Bell is a cautionary tale of what not to do as an NFL running back. He's gone on record and said holding out for a season was a huge mistake. Same thing with Zeke. In Dallas, never been the same. He's not even with the Cowboys anymore. Okay, Sarina Taylor is here, our hockey analyst. She's made the trek up from Florida. How are you doing, Sarina?
I'm well. Much better
Good.
now that I have my luggage.
Yeah, we can get through that travel snafu here. But yeah, I told you your fan club has shown up. Allie in Texarkana says, happy Tuesday, RP squad. Happy August, Sarina Day. From WQEE Rhino Radio in Atlanta says, RP show with King Rod, Top Gun, and the Golden Girl. You said your friends in Florida don't care for the nickname Golden Girl.
I don't care for the nickname Golden Girl.
You never told me that?
I've told you that. Even Kevin's laughing because Kevin's like, he's told me.
Was I not listening? Everybody loves it so much.
Get the gong. Rod wasn't listening. Ding.
How about that?
I do the talking, not the listening. Listen.
That's evidence.
60 seconds to talk about your travel snafu getting here, if you don't mind?
I missed my connecting flight from Dallas to Calgary out of West Palm Beach because we were grounded in Palm Beach. And then I had to stay the night in Dallas. They put me on a flight to Chicago, which got canceled in the middle of the night. So they still sent my luggage to Chicago. I ended up getting on standby on the flight to Calgary. We get on the runway, start gunning it. Plane slams on its brakes, comes to a dead stop on the runway. We end up having to turn around and go back because one of the engines wasn't functioning. I end up getting here, of course, but without my luggage.
For a couple days.
Yes, correct. Hence why I had to go shopping in Banff.
Wait, a good reason to go. So I told you that people were awaiting your appearance and they had questions for you. So I will get to those. Hang on, Rich and Jeff and everybody else. And of course, the poll question is, what is the Edmonton Elks problem for Key Auto Group? We'll discuss that more next hour when we get back into football. Is it the executive and the board? Is it the Eskimos curse because they changed the name and they haven't won since? Is it the coaching of the talent? Forget all that. Mind you, you did grow up as an Edmonton Eskimos fan. Do you have a take on that?
I think sometimes these things just happen. I'm not sure if there's any one particular thing that's causing the problem. How Chris Jones still has a job is beyond me. I don't think he's the problem, but generally what happens in situations like that is the first thing to go is the coach. It's just like when you're losing, Montreal's losing 10-0 in a game, they pull Patrick Waugh. That's what's going to happen, right? There has to be an adjustment. They haven't done anything.
Somebody has to pay is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, they just haven't done anything to shake it up.
Until yesterday when they changed the offensive coordinator.
Who cares, though?
Right. So there's a succession of questions here from the crew. And by the way, Ryan O'Radio in Atlanta says maybe we should call you Queen Sarina.
That's much
I
better.
don't care for that. So, yeah.
I like
How about no? Brian in Manitoba wants to know what you think the Oilers need to go from being a bridesmaid to finally a bride and winning a Stanley Cup.
That's another thing that's interesting because I feel like 2 years ago, Edmonton had a little, or like not this past year, but the year before, they had a little stronger run in the playoffs than they did last year. But they also came up against Vegas, who won the Stanley Cup. The year before, they came up against Colorado, who won the Stanley Cup. Both of those teams, in my opinion, were by far the Stanley Cup champions. But I think Edmonton had a stronger team this year than they did the previous year. So they're making moves to get stronger players. And I'm not using this as an excuse because I'm a pretty realistic Oilers fan. I'm happy with the team that we have. I think it's just one of those things where they come up against these teams in the playoffs. And I said it during that series that Edmonton and Vegas are the two teams. Realistically, they wouldn't be in the Stanley Cup final, but they were the two teams that should have been in the Stanley Cup final. They're the best teams in there. So somebody's got to lose. I just can't stand when people start pointing fingers at what do they need to do? What do they need to do? They are doing things to make it happen. I can't complain.
It's pretty quiet coming out of Edmonton in terms of complaints because there's not a lot to complain about.
You shouldn't.
And everybody, hang on, I will get to all of your questions, but I will say this. I feel like you're loving being in Calgary where you haven't heard it yet. You've only been here a couple days. I've been here a couple weeks. I've actually heard people say, well, we did have more points than the Panthers last year. The team that went to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what they're clinging to here.
That's what they cling to. They won one Stanley Cup, so they're going to cling to that forever. I have zero, as we know. Normally, I wear an Oilers shirt in this city everywhere I go.
Yeah, it goes over really well.
So I could care less, as you know.
But the thing is, for the last 2 summers that we've been here, this is now the third. It's a daily debate in Alberta. Who's better, Flames or Oilers, Oilers or Flames? And this summer, it's like that the conversation's changed. You don't hear it.
Right. There is no conversation.
It's not a question.
Yeah, they know it, but not every team is going to be parallel the whole time. Throughout the 80s, all of the Canadian teams were dynamic. Everybody was good. So now things have changed so much. So, when the Oilers were sucking wind for a while, it was the Flames have always been horrible. So now that was kind of on an even keel, and now it's just different.
Okay, I want to get to the Flames thing in a second because we're here, but Rich in Edmonton says, does Sarina agree that the Oil needs to adjust their defensive zone scheme to improve what can be at times a clown show in their own end?
Well, if going back to the first question, if somebody was to ask me what I think should be different, Darnell Nurse needs to go away. I've been saying that for years. He's the worst defenseman, one of the worst defensemen I've ever seen in my entire life. And then he'll pull something out and make a big play. So he's not bad offensively, but as far as defensemen, like when we picked up, what's his name from Chicago, I thought, okay, last year, the year before, whatever that was, I was like, this is going to go one of two ways. It's not going to hurt, but who knows if it's going to help or not. And our defenseman is lacking. Having said that, defense across the whole league is down, significantly down from what it used to be. Chicago, when they won the Stanley Cup, had 5 solid defensemen. I don't know a team that has 5 good defensemen anymore. And that was a decade and a half ago or whatever. It really wasn't that long ago. Nobody has there's no defenseman coming out of junior anymore.
We live in Florida. Are you surprised by the Panthers didn't really blow it up, but when they come back for training camp in a few weeks' time, a lot of different faces. Mark Stahl gone. Radko Gudas gone.
I'm not surprised. I feel like Florida did a pretty good job going for it. They didn't really think that they had a shot to win the Stanley Cup at the start of the season. And I feel like they did some really good things, but that's the kind of stuff that doesn't last. They sound like the Blue Jays. Every time they get somebody the fans like or somebody that does something, they blow them out. It's a business. That's what's going to happen. I'm personally not a Gudas fan. I'd have got rid of him a long time ago. He proved his worth in the playoffs, in my opinion. The fans like him there, but he did a lot of stupid things that were immature and caused him to take penalties. He was a liability for the Panthers, and I would get rid of him too. And with Mark Stahl, I think they knew that was going to be a one-off anyway.
Game 3 turned because of a stupid penalty by Radko Gudas, which the Panthers ended up coming back to win anyways. But yeah, I guess there's something to be said about addition by subtraction. But here in Calgary, I was discussing this with a very well-heeled sports fan who said Jonathan Huberdeau, of course he was heartbroken. He went from playing in Florida, palm trees, great team, to Calgary, freezing his ass off and not liking the coach. Do you believe that he was heartbroken? And maybe Mackenzie Weegar too? Do you think that happens?
That's extremely unprofessional, and I think people are looking for excuses as to why they didn't click. I think, and I think I've said this before to you, probably on here, that you go from a hockey environment where no one cares, no one's holding you accountable. When I say no one, I mean the fans, to a place where there's a lot more pressure. What are you going to do? I didn't expect more out of Mackenzie Weegar than what he gave. He's a fantastic hockey player. But Huberdeau obviously let him, probably himself, down as well. The kid's Canadian. He's used to the pressure. But when you go from Florida to here, it's completely different.
Brian in Manitoba says on the EMJ marketing text line, should you ever need an alter ego for the Golden Girl, I propose the Platinum Pearl. Platinum, as it is more precious than gold, and pearl because she is a jewel. Love me some sassy Sarina comments any day, anytime. Listen, if you don't like the name Golden Girl, we'll move on. I just love it so much. How much are you enjoying being in Canada, by the way?
Love it. I love being in Canada. First and foremost, I can breathe when I run. That's a big thing. This morning I was running on the treadmill, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I could run forever because my lungs aren't full. I just was skating along, going away, life was good. But I just love, we got Timbits around here every day. It's going to be my double-double every morning.
Well, thank Karen for that. What a wonderful gal she is. You finally got a chance to meet Karen Franca, the marketing manager here at Century Downs. Well, hey, we talked enough Oilers. That's your team. Flames, because we're here. But yesterday's poll question was, will the Vegas Golden Knights repeat? I actually voted yes, because why not? I know how Kelly McCrimmon operates. They're a great team. But what do you see for Vegas next season?
You know, when Colorado won the Stanley Cup, they won it predominantly, and I felt like they were going to have a much better season the next year. But then all of a sudden they get rid of their goaltender and things change. And
Kadri, gone.
Yeah, like there was definitely some changes. As far as Vegas, it's going to depend on what they do. But I will say this. Kelly McCrimmon is a lot smarter than any other general manager in the NHL. And that's the difference between the Oilers right there. I'm not bagging on the current, anything there, but Kelly McCrimmon just has that magic touch that most guys don't have. And Kevin's like, oh, they're going to go down in the first round. And he's standing by that.
Could happen.
It could. Hey, anything can happen. But I just think that there won't be as dramatic of a shakeup with Vegas as there was with Colorado the year before. Vegas is going to do fine.
Just throwing out some questions at you that we have kicked around the last couple of days, or weeks even. Who's the closest bridesmaid team to winning the Stanley Cup out of these four? Edmonton, Dallas, Carolina, or the Leafs, who we just threw in there because they're the Leafs. But which of those four? Edmonton, Carolina, Dallas, or Toronto?
Carolina can, whatever. Nobody cares about them. Literally, who cares about Carolina? Was the other one Dallas? I hate Dallas. Edmonton or Toronto? I don't know if any of them have really been a bridesmaid because they haven't lost in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, Dallas has. So you're immediately discounting them just because you don't like them.
They also cheated to win the Stanley Cup, so that kind of is a wash.
You probably should stop living in the past, but we continue.
You just said they lost in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, like a couple of years ago.
Either way, you asked. But as far as the bridesmaid thing, I would feel like whoever was in the Stanley Cup final, it's hard for me to say, like, does Toronto deserve to win because it's been 500 years since they've won? Not necessarily. But as far as them having a really strong team this past year, I feel like they put the pieces together to have a strong team to win, and so did Edmonton. So when I was talking to Keith Jones right before Game 4 of the Stanley Cup final, he said to me, as a Flyers fan and now president, he thought this year was going to be the Oilers' year. And he goes, I really thought they were going to do it this year. I was like, so did I. Like, I really felt it. And it just happens when you come up. So probably out of those four teams, and me not being biased, I would say Edmonton probably deserved the two playoff runs that they've had over the past 2 years. I would say yes. Toronto, if you're going to continuously lose in the first round, that's your problem.
Yeah. Look, there's a nice little appetizer for you, everybody. She'll be back in hour 2. Cool? Thank you. Matthew Barnaby is going to take a swing at some of these questions when we return to Century Downs Racetrack and Casino after this brief pause on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio in Atlanta, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino presents the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals. Be here when the wagons roll August 23rd to 27th. Single-day tickets and 5-day passes available at showpass.com. Century Downs, welcome to the winner's zone.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show continues live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in Calgary. As you see, Clark has just informed me that Matthew Barnaby is MIA, missing in action. Have we checked Ottawa area golf courses, Clark? Yeah. So, yeah. Hopefully Barney joins us, but I can handle the rest. We are launching a contest here this morning. I might as well do it now. I said I was going to talk more football next hour with Ryan Thelwell, but without Barney here, now might be the time. We're giving away tickets to the Argos and the Stampeders, 2 each. Friday night's game at McMahon Stadium. What you got to do is go to Century Downs Instagram account right now and put in this keyword that they actually bestowed upon me to come up with. Enter the keyword in their comments under their post at Century Downs on Instagram, and you'll be entered into the draw. We'll randomly pick a winner to go watch the Argos and the Stamps, a rematch of the 1971 Grey Cup. The keyword is Flutie. Flutie! That is the keyword, Flutie. Go write it now. Enter the contest and get out and watch some CFL football Friday night, courtesy Century Downs, Racetrack and Casino, and the RP Show. Now, I'll get to all your comments in a moment. There's a lot of things to get to today. EMJ Marketing text line is open, 902-518-3033. Kelly, watching in the Queen City, Regina, writes in. He says, morning, RP. Good day and good farming. Bring up Jerome Bichard's name while talking next on the radio show. He coaches the Columbus Cottonmouths hockey team. And now you say that. Yeah, next time that I'm on Columbus radio, I will talk about Jerome, stay out of my yard, Bichard. I tell you something. We did a banquet together 2018 in Sedley, Sask. Jerome Bichard, because he's from there. Henry Burris, and a hockey great. Henry Burris, who's now assistant coach of the Los Angeles Rams of the National Football League. And Ricky Foley, the three of us. And Jerome Bichard talked about a bus crash that he was on with Columbus years prior. And about a month later, the Humboldt crash happened. Unbelievable. Bad luck. That he would talk about it and then beyond bad luck. But yeah, I did an event with Jerome Bichard, still coaching the Columbus Cottonmouths, and just an all-around great guy. Jerome, stay out of my yard, Bichard. Kirk in Toronto, watching on Game Plus TV, where Game Plus TV is headquartered, by the way, downtown Toronto. He says, hi, Rod. The Argos are rolling. First time to start a season at 6-0 since 1935. Thank you, Kirk. We've been talking about it for 2 days. It was in my weekend column that they had their way with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in touchdown Atlantic 31-13. By the way, for our Eastern viewers, and I'm talking about Maritimes, perk up, by the way. I know you're all watching us on Eastlink cable out there in Rogers on Game Plus TV. I understand the touchdown Atlantic went over very well. I don't want to out the guy, but he wrote in here, guy from out east. So to expect an announcement this winter about CFL expansion to Halifax. Temporary stadium.
That?
Now, This is some random guy whom I've never met. So he was like, don't say it was me. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who you are. But he said that this winter they'll be announcing an expansion team. Well, I hope. If you watch this show long enough, you'll know my stance on that. We've been going around flirting with this for 40 years. I'm officially done with it. So, yeah, great rumor. When it happens, I'd love to be at the first game. Until then, we're done. I mentioned a sports update. And by the way, if we don't have Barney, you can keep coming with your comments to me because I'll read them all day and give my thoughts to you on them. 902-518-3033. EMJ Marketing text line. Get the best speaker for your event, courtesy emjmarketing.com. Contact Joe there. The Canadian Elite Basketball League's 5th season's coming to a head as this year's single elimination playoff format takes flight Friday night in a play-in round doubleheader. 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern. In the East, play-in game. Winning, you're in. Losing, you go home. It's a rematch of last year's league final. The defending champion Brampton Honey Badgers travel to Scarborough, taking on the Shooting Stars at 7 p.m. at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre. Immediately following that game, the Western Conference play-in game will tip off at 9 Eastern, 8 Central in Canada Life Centre in Winnipeg, when the Sea Bears host a 2-time CEBL champion Edmonton Stingers. By the way, somebody wrote in here earlier, good morning from Winnipeg, the #1 city for RP show viewership. That is a fact, Jack. Very big in Winnipeg. This is their inaugural. I don't know what it says. That this is the inaugural season expansion team in Winnipeg for the Sea Bears, and they've gone and set CEBL attendance records in Winnipeg. Were they starving for another league, a new team? I don't know, but it's awesome. So the Winnipeg Sea Bears, the expansion team, are home to the Edmonton Stingers Friday night. Win and you move on, lose and you go home. That's pretty cool. The Ottawa Blackjacks and Calgary Surge will host their respective conference semifinal games then on Sunday against the winners of the play-in game. So this is like a CFL format. The first place team's got a bye, second and third playing off. And how about the Calgary Surge? In their first ever season here in Cowtown, Winsport Arena, they finish in first place. That should surprise nobody that follows the Calgary Surge and what's happening. Yes, they relocated from Guelph. I understand that, but it's their first season here in this town. And Jason Ribeiro's become a real good friend of mine, the president of the Calgary Surge. Starts at the top, people. Which reminds me, we should get into the poll question and update that. It starts at the top. I could tell in the guy's eye. Had him face-to-face here when they were going into the season. I'm like, this guy thinks they're going to win it all. And he plans on it. And he runs his team classily. He doesn't take any guff. And look where they are. It's not real rocket science. Holds people accountable. Anyways, the sports update regarding the CEBL playoffs brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters Wednesday, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. After years of being sheltered from the human world, the Turtle brothers set out to win the hearts of New Yorkers and be accepted as normal teenagers through heroic acts. Their new friend, April O'Neil, helps them take on a mysterious crime syndicate, but they soon get in over their heads when an army of mutants is unleashed upon them. In theaters Wednesday, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Get to your nearest Landmark Cinemas. Ryan's here, folks. Our hour 2 guest has showed up. The welcoming crew is welcoming him. That's what they do. And by the way, you can enter our contest right now, Landmark Cinemas, by texting the text line 902-518-3033, the EMJ Marketing text line. Movies in all caps, and the movie you'd like to go see. And on Friday, we'll be awarding gift certificates to the concessions and the theaters. Here it is. Enter to win a movie night out at Landmark Cinemas for movie lovers only. All you got to do, text movies and your favorite movie to 902-518-3033. Winners are picked every Friday to enjoy a movie night out this weekend. Oh, we're late for we'll update the poll question when we come back and talk a little more about it. What is the Edmonton Elks' biggest problem? Is it the board/executive, the Eskimo curse? Is it coaching or is it talent? I'm interested to see who's going to win this poll and who's leading now. We'll be right back to Century Downs Racetrack and Casino after this brief pause on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and streaming.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We are live from that beautiful facility, Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. And by the way, we launched the contest today to win a pair of tickets to the Stampeders and the Argos Friday night at McMahon Stadium. Go follow Century Downs on Instagram and enter this keyword in the comments on their page. Flutie. Did I tell you? Of course it is. Maybe one day down the line I'll say Bo, my good buddy Bo. But no, for today it's Flutie. First time doing it. Go to their Instagram page. Give them a follow. You got to be following to win. We'll see you Friday night at McMahon Stadium as the Stampeders look for their first home win of the year against the 6-0 Toronto Argonauts. First home win, that is. Ryan Thelwell will be joining us next hour. And I'm going to just read his bio now so we don't have to waste time with it in hour two. How about this? We're the exact same age, by the way. he just isn't a little more fit than me. I think we weigh the same. It's just different places. Born in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Beautiful part of the world. Mick Jagger has a house there. Been by it. Played college at Minnesota. Drafted by the BC Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. One of those guys. Drafted in both the CFL and NFL draft. Played with the Chargers, Jags, Steelers in the show. BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders in the CFL. 3-time Grey Cup champion. CFL Western All-Star. He's a Hall of Famer, for the love of Pete. And he's joining us down here at Century Downs Casino. So we're getting, listen, you get the football questions ready for next hour. And then Sarina Don will join us later on in hour 2. And we'll finish up with the hockey discussions with her. She just kind of cracked the lid and got everybody all running around and then left. On the EMJ marketing text line, Brian in Manitoba says, before the hierarchy was changed in Winnipeg, i.e. before Wade Miller, O'Shea, etc., we were a terrible team. Change the personnel at the top and see what happened. See, that's the thing. I'm no genius on these things, but with the Edmonton situation, wonderful poll question, I thought, today. I mean, what I mean by that is just a fascinating discussion for Key Auto Group. What is the Elks' biggest problem? Is it the board/executive? Is it the Eskimo curse, the name change? Is it coaching, or is it talent? And 44% of respondents saying it's coaching. I mean, Canadians, it's not our number one sport, football, but we understand it pretty well. I think people can look at it on the field and say, there's talent there. You watch the game Saturday against BC, they're dropping passes, they're missing tackles, brain farts left and right, bad penalties. At the end of the day, who do you put that on? Talent's one thing, playing smart is another. And it's funny you bring up Winnipeg, and I meant to say that yesterday, but I'll say it now. It's like all those poor Blue Bombers leading up to the 2019 Grey Cup Championship, and then when they followed it up in 2020, they had to pay for the sins of all the bad Bomber teams from 1990 till then. That long drought, that 29-year drought. They got shoving microphones in Mike O'Shea's face and whomever's face. Whoever was the quarterback before Zach, Drew Willie's face, whatever, Matt Nichols. Why are they answering for the fact they didn't win a Grey Cup in the 90s, the 2000s? You know? Why is Chris Jones being forced to pay for the sins of the past regimes? Well, because you're there. You're in the seat. Last minute of play in hour 1. It's a fascinating discussion. Leanne in Regina writes in and says, for the Riders, management and coaching. 2019 was outstanding and trending downward since. I look at the talent on D. Losing Roland Milligan was bad. Talent at receiver. Well, it's when Chris Jones left. 2019. Jan at the Four Seasons says, I'd say it's a little bit of everything on that list. Pierre Ducharme writes in, says, this year's CFL schedule has brought back balance to the league, increased attendance and TV ratings. TSN's past insistence of late 9 games was hard on the game. We'll get into all of that, plus the NFL story, right after this brief pause with Ryan Thelwell, NFL CFL alum. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on Game Plus, Key Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. and that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Lake Center, Kim Marcus Airborne off the scene. ETA 22 minutes.
The prizes are a draw, but the cause, that's the clincher.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Your take on Sean Payton and Aaron Rodgers before we get into these CFL things.
Sean Payton doesn't do or say anything unless it's intentional. What's the reason? Is it to give Russell Wilson a scapegoat? But Aaron Rodgers did come out, you're right, and say, defended his coach. He said he had him in Green Bay, maybe the most fun, favorite coach he's ever had.
I think football coaches all have a type, and I think they're calculated in everything that they do. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, coming at you live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. Beautiful Calgary, Alberta, Canada, home of the Calgary Stampede. And the many-time Grey Cup champion Calgary Stampeders and the one-time Stanley Cup champion Calgary Flames. We're talking football today, both CFL and NFL, and you are in luck, everybody. We're on Game Plus television all across Canada and 31 U.S. states. TELUS Channel 924. In Alberta and BC. We're on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE, podcast and YouTube Live. We're going to chat a lot of NFL and CFL here in Hour 2. And we can put the man on camera. As I read his resume, do I say this every time, Ryan Thelwell? This is a Hall of Fame career. Are you on the ballot? Do you know if you're on the ballot?
Not that I know of, but
you should be.
I got to tell you what, man. You're the right man I've ever had. I think I should be paying you.
Wikipedia is. No, it's Wikipedia. This doesn't lie.
Yeah.
San Diego Chargers, Jacksonville Jaguars, Pittsburgh Steelers, and then into the CFL with the BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders, and BC again. And you're part of history, bro. You are the answer to the question.
Oh, really?
Well, 2011, were you not one of the guys that joined the Lions late in the year? Yeah, you were.
I was.
Don't be humble, Ryan. Yes. This is not the show to be humble.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't know if I've told you the story about when I got the call from Wally. I think we've had that conversation.
Yeah, tell me again, because it's a great one.
I was coaching with the Calgary Colts, and we had just lost the championships to Saskatoon. So driving back from Saskatoon, I'm with Tom Verzani.
The owners? Did they own this Did Forzani own the Stamps at that time?
No.
Okay.
No. And I'm drawing a blank on who. There's another gentleman with us. Anyways, I got a missed call from my wife. I'm upset. We'd lost the game. And second missed call. So when the third missed call came through, I figured, you know what?
Something's going on.
Yeah. So I better answer. And so she says, right, like, just heads up. I think G-Roy, Wally wants you to come back. G-Roy's trying to get in touch with you. So sure enough, G-Roy calls me maybe 5 minutes later, and he was just like, hey, look, Wally's going to call you. Just lie and tell him you're in the best shape of your life. And up to that point, Rod, I had not done a thing. And so sure enough, I get a call from Wally, and yeah, I'm not going to lie. I said, you know what? I actually did. I said, Wally, you know what? I'm in the best shape of my life. There's Tom Forzani in the front saying, hey, Wally, if he's not going to do it, I'm available, right? So, and I was on a plane the next day.
So, and then you go on to win a Grey Cup.
Yes.
In 2011.
Yes.
So I just, we have Lions fans in attendance here. We'll speak slower for them. He loves it. But no, Arlen Bruce was one of those calls when the team was 0-5, right? And I think Tad Cornegay too?
Yeah, well, no, Arlen was already there.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
okay.
He was already, I think he was there from day one. This would have been 2011.
Right.
And so, yeah, he was there.
So one of those late additions.
Yeah.
So my point is, we'll just settle in here. We have a lot of things to get to. We have a big NFL audience. I mentioned we were on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out Dirty Birds, hashtag Rise Up. So NFL's in training camp right now. I'm glad you're here for 40 minutes. Are you good for 40 minutes?
Good, yes, I am.
Well, because Jeff Fairholm sat in that chair Friday, Grey Cup winner with the Argos and Riders, and he's like, all these injuries in NFL training camps. He goes, I think it's because of lack of contact. What do you think?
I agree 1,000%. I don't remember ever seeing so many injuries, and I'm probably sounding like Al Bundy right now, but I don't remember.
When I played, yeah.
But I don't, Rod. I don't remember seeing guys and the amount of injuries that we're seeing now. And I think I read somewhere, and I think it was a Dave Dickinson interview, he sounded frustrated with it.
It was on the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, right? And so I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. We're seeing it in the NFL, we're seeing it more and more in the CFL, and I truly do believe that's what it's from.
You're out of game condition shape type thing.
And then you're throwing right into the fire, and it's full go, and guys are tearing Achilles, popping knees. Some of the injuries are you can't do much about, right? If somebody rolls up on you and you break a foot, like what happened to Bo, that's things like that happen. But I don't know. There's got to be something going on because we're seeing more and more of it.
That's the thing, is I don't think that it's a curse or anything like that. There has to be a reason. There's a lot of guys getting a lot of money to figure this stuff out, and you want your players playing. Obviously, they're the project or the product. So I wonder, do you think they'll ever go back to less padded practices? And
you know what? I don't see it going in that
direction. I don't know how you could.
I feel like they're going to go in the opposite direction and take less or take more of a load off on these guys. And again, I feel like that's just something that we're going to see more and more of, and I don't know what the answer is to that one.
So, again, if you have any NFL questions, obviously CFL, let us know, emjmarketing.com. Reach out to Joe there. They are a sponsor of our text line, EMJ Marketing, for the best keynotes. Book them for your event. My mind's racing, as you can see. I'm glad he's here for 40 minutes. Chargers, Jaguars, Steelers.
Yeah.
Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment? Who was that star that you saw that you were like, wow?
You know what? I've got to say it was Terrell Owens.
Is that right?
Yeah. And so this would have been in 2008. So back then, T.O. wasn't really the guy.
He was coming down.
He was just, I believe 2008 was probably his breakout year. But I remember going into the facility for the first time and, walking in, and they've got all their Super Bowl rings in this glass case, and you go to the security door, and the gym was to your right, and there's this guy just working out, and I remember thinking, oh shit, that guy's a monster.
Freak, eh?
I knew of, but didn't really know a lot about him, and he was just a physical freak. But it's crazy. It's you hear the good and the bad about T.O. My experience with him was it was absolutely amazing. I found that he was all about making the other receivers better. And he did everything that he could to facilitate that. There are other receivers on that team that, to be honest, didn't give a crap. And you know what? To each their own. But T.O. was always a guy that would answer any questions. If there was an incident in terms of pushing and shoving, he'd be the first guy in there to have your back. So I really enjoyed him.
I'll tell you something, the wildest thing about that, by the way, is T.O. should be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't believe that he is because of stigma or whatever. It's just how it's changed. How the sport, because if Michael Irvin's in there, Cowboys fan right here. You want to know something about Michael Irvin? Read the book, Boys Will Be Boys. He's in. How's T.O. not get in?
I thought, is he not? I thought he was in.
The T.O. in,
there was a big controversy about him not doing the whole...
maybe he is.
The whole presentation at Canton or whatever it was.
Okay, he is in. I thought there was a bias against him because he never won a Super Bowl, but he is Hall of Fame talent.
Well, there was a big, I guess, uproar because it took so long for him to actually get put in.
Well, maybe that's the reason.
And I think that's what it was.
And by the way, we could sit here and talk Halls of Fame for 2 hours because the Hall of Fame game's Thursday night in Canton, Jets and Browns. And I'm not even embarrassed that I didn't know T.O.'s in because of the political nature of what's happened with the Hall of Fames. I don't follow it anymore. It used to be my favorite debate. Should he, shouldn't he? And now that doesn't enter into it. Anyways, I don't want to go down that road because it's not fun. Now, we were talking about Florida before we went to the air, and believe me, we're going to bring up the Edmonton Elks in today's poll question. What's their biggest problem? We'll get to that with Ryan Thelwell. But you went down. I should have known you and Hank were such great friends. Tell me about, the last we talked, you were just going down there.
Yes.
I haven't seen you since. So how was it?
It was great. You know what? When we first booked the trip, booked to go down there was no significance to the game. We just knew we were going to be going to the last game of the season. And then it just turned out to be winner makes the playoffs, loser goes home. I believe they moved the game from Sunday during the day to Saturday night, which is kind of new for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The atmosphere was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The tailgate, I think we started tailgating at noon and kickoff was 7. So it was just one of those things where kind of feel like we're at the right place, right time to experience something that hasn't happened in a long time. And to have Henry on the team made it a little bit more special because, you know, we're pulling for the Jags, but we're pulling for Henry. And it was just one of those nights. I got to meet a bunch of the guys afterwards. My boss, I think, ended up being on Trevor Lawrence's Christmas card. He photobombed one of their family photos. But it was good. It was a pretty neat experience.
Trevor Lawrence owns that town.
Oh, I know.
And for good reason.
Good reason, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Duval. And now Nathan Rourke's there. I mean, ideally, he won't see the field if you're a Jaguars fan.
Yeah.
But I know they're pretty excited about Nathan Rourke there in Jacksonville. And Hank's not there anymore.
Yep.
Have you switched to being a Rams fan now because Hank's with L.A. or what?
Listen, I'm an Eagles guy.
Is that right, huh?
I can only move that so far. You know, I did get a Jags hat. But that's the extent of it.
Nice gear they have.
And you know me, it's all about just cheering for people. I want Hank to be successful. I think given an opportunity, he'll do an amazing job. It's just getting his footing and getting in the door. And I feel like once he's established, he'll be okay. So I'm cheering for Hank. The Rams.
We're a couple of years late on that train.
Yeah.
Now's not the time. Yeah, so Hank's there as a training camp coach, and he's going to be great no matter what he does. I was a little surprised that he wasn't back in Jacksonville, but this is the game now, right, as we were talking about earlier. 3-time Grey Cup champion Ryan Thelwell is with us here at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. And, okay, I just opened up the EMJ Marketing text line. There's a million here. Larry Sweet is watching in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He writes in at 902-518-3033. He says, Rod, please tell Ryan that Sweeter's dad says hello. It's been a long time. Larry Sweet. That's Chris's dad.
Oh, my goodness. Tell him I said hello.
Well, you just did.
I said hello. And I will be seeing Chris next week.
This week.
Sorry,
now's a good time. I'll say, did I mention our contest today? Through Century Downs and the Calgary Stampeders. Go to Century Downs Instagram page, give them a follow. The key word today is Flutie. Enter the keyword Flutie in the comments under their post. You'll be entered to win the draw for tickets Friday night to watch the Argonauts and the Calgary Stampeders. Now, we will get to that Edmonton Elks poll question in a second, but now would be a really good time to bring up the Stamps not having won a home game yet.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's a good question. Just kind of feel like there's been a lot of injuries, and I know that's not an excuse. All teams have injuries, but kind of feel like the Stamps have got hit a little harder. A lot of key positions, a lot of young receivers playing. It doesn't help when you have a young quarterback, so they're just not on the same page. And I think that will get better with time, but again, you've only got so much time. So I feel like Jake has played better the last few games. They just got to put it together. It's different phases of the team will play well at different times. And it's just they haven't played a complete game yet. And Rod, you know how it is. You just got to get in. You just got to get in.
And it usually goes to like week 18 before you get in. So we're past that opening third. Labor Day is still a ways away. Yeah. It's August 1st today. But you've been around Dave Dickenson for a real long time. And Dickie seems, I have complete faith that they picked the right quarterback in Jake Maier. Come on. Huff doesn't know. Dave doesn't know. Mark Mueller doesn't know. The kid needs to be better.
Yes.
But I think it's there.
I think he's there, right? You see flashes of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel that he's played better the last few games. Yeah. But you just got to eliminate. He's had some interceptions at just poor
bad times. Yeah.
And again, it's going to happen. But, it's just got to play through it. And again, I feel like Labor Day, once you hit Labor Day, that's when things really start to get serious. And the way the West looks right now, Edmonton's still got a shot to make it in, right? So,
I'm sorry to laugh. It's hard not to. 0-8.
I hear ya. I hear ya. But it's just get in and kind of see how it plays out from there, and that should be the message, I think.
That's how you and I look at it. But when they're inside the rooms, the coaching rooms, the meeting rooms, they don't want to let it wait till October.
100%.
Right? They want to get it figured out now.
Yep.
But it is a process. And I guess my question, are the Stamps good enough?
Yeah. Do you know what I feel, too, Rod, is that they've been good for so long that people aren't used to seeing this. Like, when's the last time they've gone this long?
07.
Yeah. Right?
A long time.
It's been a while. And so I feel like it is just a matter of time. They've been good for so long. Dave's an amazing coach. Monson's an amazing coach, and I think it's just a matter of time before they get the ship righted.
Again, the keyword is Flutie. Go to Century Downs Instagram page right now. Enter that in the comments under their post, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. When we come back, more NFL talk, obviously CFL talk, and our hockey analyst, Sarina Taylor, coming up later on to finish the discussion we started in hour one. We're live from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino on the Game Plus television network, WQE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Lake Center, you can mark us airborne off the scene. ETA 2 minutes.
The prizes are a draw, but the cause, that's the clincher.
This is why they can count on me.
Inbound receiving hospital.
Prizes and a cause I can't say no to.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win more than $3.6 million in prizes, including cash, homes, vehicles, and vacations. Buy your tickets today at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino presents the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals. Be here when the wagons roll August 23rd to 27th. Single-day tickets and 5-day passes available at showpass.com. Century Downs, welcome to the winner's zone.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
And we're back live at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, and we're going to get into a fantastic, even more fantastic of a football discussion with Ryan Thelwell, because it's been fantastic so far. But now we got to get to the poll question. We got to stop putting it off. It's for our friends at Key Auto Group, and it's what's wrong with the Edmonton Elks. And I'll give you the options in a moment, but Twisted Mike writes in. He's watching from Regina. Twisted Mike says, Edmonton Elks' biggest problem are all of the above, but coaching and the board are the biggest problems. And then he says the Riders must win versus Ottawa. Our options are, we bring in Ryan Thelwell, 3-time Grey Cup champion and NFL alum, Steelers, Jags, and Chargers. Is it the executive and the board in Edmonton? That's who I voted for. Is it the Eskimos curse? They haven't won a home game since they changed the name. Oh, you like that one, huh?
I do like that one, yes.
And coaching or talent? Twisted Mike saying all of the above, but more so coaching and the board. What do you think?
I got a Twisted Mike?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to agree with Twisted Mike. It's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it comes down to coaching. I feel like they're I feel defensively they've played well.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, there's been just a lack, and again, you could chalk it up to injuries. Like I was saying, all the teams suffer injuries. They all go through it. But when you get shut out twice in the CFL, there's a problem with coaching. And so we'll see. Like I played with Jarius. I know Jarius is an amazing offensive mind. I feel like that change should have been made a while ago. Waiting to this point, I don't know if that's going to be enough between you and me, and I feel like that's kind of the only move that they had. But we're going to see. I feel like switching the quarterbacks out, giving some new blood an opportunity might drive some more excitement to the
So
fan
you're
base.
basically saying this is a fixable problem, you think?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Are you looking at me? I don't think you do, right?
No, my mind's going because I'm a Jones guy.
Yep.
I like him a lot. All those guys are.
We've had that conversation.
Yeah, I like him. I want everybody to do well. But it's not every team's going to do well in any league. I get that.
Yep.
I also don't like to see people lose their jobs.
Yes.
I don't like to see that, right? And I'm thinking a switch at quarterback, a switch at play calling, And at that coaching position, you know how much of this game is mental.
It is.
Ryan?
Yep.
So for those players, I would think they're going to come in rejuvenated and fired up. And a little bit of guilt, too.
Yes.
You ever had a coach fired midseason for a team you played for?
No, I never have.
We've all seen it, though, right?
That's not true. When I was with San Diego, Kevin Gilbride got fired, and June Jones, who was the quarterback's coach, got brought in as the interim coach. So, yes.
Were you guys awful?
Very awful. I'll be honest. I think we had the #1 defense in the league and the last rated offense in the league. That was Ryan Leaf's first season, so it was a tough one, but that change needed to happen.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just I wish we had 4 hours today to go on this because Ryan Leaf and I have a history.
Yep.
It started bad and it's now good. He's been on this show.
Yep.
And just so pressure.
Yes.
It's now 2023, not 1998. That was pre-Twitter, there was pressure then too, folks, right?
Yes,
there was pressure then too.
Yes.
Imagine the pressure on Ryan Leaf at that time.
You know what? I couldn't imagine having to experience that.
Yeah.
Like I felt pressure just being in the league. His was 100 times greater. And you know what? I feel like you talk about the mental side of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes some people great, and that's what ruins some people's career. And I just think at the time, he just mentally wasn't prepared for what was going to come at him. And so you look at Peyton Manning went one game his first year.
Yeah.
But mentally, he just had that fortitude, right? So,
oh, man. Ryan Thelwell, you make it so easy to have these interviews. So my point is some of us that face pressure don't deal with it well. Ryan and I handle it, the Leafs, not Thelwell, handle it the wrong way. But fortunately, we both found the way out, and now we're helping other people with that. And too late in some cases for both of us in the first regard, but that's kind of what we agree is our message. Now, to the current NFL
yes,
and the Colts, this is what made me think about it. Jim Irsay.
Yes.
And the fight he's got with his running back right now, Jonathan Taylor.
Yes.
You're following it closely, obviously.
Yeah, I do. Every morning I get my morning coffee and I watch the
NFL Network.
The NFL Network. So yes.
So you see the NFL running backs held their own Zoom session the other day. They're thinking of starting their own union. I could see why they would think that would work, but I also see why that's not going to happen or work.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
No.
It's good for us because it creates conversation. Yeah. And I understand where they're coming from. I truly do. I feel like that position is undervalued. But with that being said, what can they do, right? You can talk about
They don't have the power.
Exactly.
End of story.
Exactly.
Yeah, and furthermore, I mean, you're a bright guy. You follow the economics of things. Yep. If you're going to give these quarterbacks this much money, somebody else is going to have to pay.
It's got to come from somewhere else. And you know what? I feel like the quarterbacks do deserve what they're getting. Do I feel the running backs deserve? They're never going to get that type of money, but do they deserve more? Yeah. I guess from a player's perspective, you want the guys to be well compensated because I feel like they're the ones that are putting their body on the line more so than any other position outside of the offensive line. Their longevity is just not there, so they've only got a short window to make a certain amount of money. So I do want them to get paid, but like you said, where's that money going to come from?
Yeah, and to the pressure of the position. Yes. It's a fact, man. My guy, Roy Shivers, always said, running backs a damn a dozen.
Yeah.
They are. There's not a lot of Patrick Mahomes around and the quarterbacks. So and again, the running backs aren't dumb, but the point is, Irsay said it right, and he's getting a lot of fire for this. He's like, the NFL engine machine keeps running. He goes, me and Jonathan Taylor can drop off the face of the earth. The NFL's going to keep going. And people have been offended by that. It's the truth.
It might not be politically correct in today's world. Sorry if I don't know if I can say that, but it's the truth. Sometimes people don't like to hear it.
Well, and he said it's a privilege to be a part of it, and that the same goes for Jonathan Taylor, by the way, and any of us, to be honest. But why do you think, you mentioned the CFL, in your time versus now, every team had a star quarterback, and frankly, now they don't. There's about 3 big names in the league. Zach Collaros, Bo Levi, healthy or not.
Yeah.
Trevor Harris, and That's about it.
That's about it.
And my guy, Cody Fajardo, who, by the way, death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. He won again Sunday, if you noticed. He's my guy.
I can tell, yeah.
I love me some Cody Fajardo.
Yes.
But why is it that the teams, they just discard quarterbacks like trading cards now, man?
Yeah, I think when we were off air, we mentioned the fact that these guys are just getting thrown into the fire. And they're just not getting, like, training camps. I know for a fact the reps aren't what they were when I played. I've heard that firsthand from guys that are coaching in the league, and that's just the way it is now. So they're not getting the reps. I played on a team, and it was Dave Dickinson, Casey Printers, Buck Pierce, and Jarris Jackson came in there. Like,
how about that?
The riches of quarterbacks. It's just a different time, right? And you know.
But what's different, right? Is it because of USFL, XFL?
I've heard that argument, and maybe that's what it is. Like, there's just the pool's just not there. But you know, it's frustrating, and you. For me, again, I'm a CFL guy. I grew up in London, Ontario. I grew up watching the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You want the league to flourish. You want the league to do better, and everybody's trying to figure out, what they can do to make it better. And and I think it starts with the quarterbacks. You gotta develop stars, and I feel like right now, and not to say there can't be potential stars. Right now, they're just not there. So maybe with time they'll get there, but I just don't see it right now.
But that's my point, and now would be a good time. Because there's a lot of Rider fans watching, and we haven't talked about them yet. Their guy, Mason Fine, they want him pulled. They want the backup in there now, the 6'7" Jake Dolegala. My thing is, you can't keep discarding guys. I think you got to start Fine again this week.
I do. I agree.
You do too?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do. It's experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I feel like nowadays, everything's so quick to... It's instant. Like, we need to change. We need to. And I feel with the quarterback position, you just need experience. In the case of the Edmonton Elks, I was going to say Eskimos, Edmonton Elks, they did need to make that change. Cornelius, he started a certain amount of games. They haven't really seen any improvement. It's to the point now where the fans, there is a bit of an uproar. We're talking about it. I read it on Twitter. They needed to do something. And I feel like that's their big play, switching offensive coordinators and then switching quarterbacks. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, yeah. Well, it's interesting because I'm friends with the personnel guys, and they say Jones specifically, he wants that prototypical 6'3" drop back, kind of a Ricky Ray, put it in a bucket type thing. And Ricky, there's only one Ricky.
There's only one Ricky Ray.
And there's only one Damon, but some of the greatest CFL quarterbacks are no bigger than 5'10".
Yeah.
They still talk about Flutie around here. Dave's not a big guy.
Dave's not a big guy.
Why do they get in love with that statuette or that silhouette of,
Because I feel like that's kind of what it's been taught. Like, that's how it's been taught. Prototypical potential. If we're gonna win, we need a guy that's 6'7". It's got to fit a certain physical profile and throw the ball a mile. Where I feel like it should be CFL's a thinking man's game. Dave Dickinson,
the smartest guy should be.
The smartest guy should be, and again, the names that you mentioned were all smart guys. They weren't the biggest guys. They understood the game, and I feel like that's what will make.
Okay, I apologize to now I'm getting to their questions, and we only got about 4 minutes left. I've hogged all the time with Ryan Thelwell. David in Winnipeg wants to know if you can speak about Andrew Harris.
Yes.
And the renaissance of his career, and now a 4-time Grey Cup champion.
Yes. I love that guy. I do. Like, I remember when he first went to BC, straight from the VC Raiders, I believe it was.
Yep.
And nobody knew what they had. And just chatting with Giroy, and Giroy would, because I was gone, I was already in BC. I was already in Calgary at the time, and he just raved about how good this kid was. The longevity. It's amazing to see, and I think he just passed Charles Roberts.
Yeah, his childhood idol. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm proud. I'm proud of him. Being a Canadian, then have a Canadian guy coming through, took a different channel or different process to get there. to do what he's done, it's absolutely amazing, and it's a great story.
My guy Brock Shepard writes in, he says, RP and RT, both legends in their craft. Much love from Calgary. From Brock, our friend from Shark Club, and the airline industry, great guy. John in Winnipeg wants to know your thoughts on the biggest difference as a receiver position from WR position, CFL to NFL, and back and forth.
The speed of the game, believe it or not. I know you got guys down south that are bigger, faster, stronger, but even the NFL game now is changing. You get these small receivers. You're seeing the RPOs, and that stuff is fairly new to the NFL, but we were running that stuff back in early 2000s. The biggest thing is just the speed of the game. You get 20 seconds between plays. The field's a lot longer, so there's a lot of running going on, and I know for me, it was just getting that down. Once you got that down and knowing how to read the extra guy, the game was easy. The CFL game to me was easy. There were times when I would know when I was going to get the ball within my first couple of steps because I understood what defense was trying to do. And when you play with Dave, the defense dictated where he was going to throw the ball. So if you knew what he was seeing, you would know when you're going to get the ball. So for me, it's just understanding, if that makes sense.
Oh, of course. Chemistry.
Yep.
And speaking of that, last question, Jake Hughes says, is a Lions fan he is. He says the 05-06 Lions receiving corps, Claremont, Simon, Paris Jackson, yourself. He goes, what type of competition was happening at practice, and did it make you all want to be better? 100%.
We had Jacques Chapelain was our offensive coordinator, and he never really had to say anything to us. It was always a friendly competition amongst the guys, but we would always pull for one another. When you have a guy like Giroy Simon, who's the best to ever do it, Jason Claremont, we wouldn't even have to go in the huddle at times. We all kind of knew what was going on with the signals. We would just kind of look at each other, and we had our own little signals going on the side. And so, it was awesome. It was an awesome group, and we all kind of came in together. And when we initially came in, we weren't that good. But once Wally came in 2003, then Dave came in, and we saw the transition and the right way to do things. That's one of the things that Wally taught. It was awesome to go through it with those guys, and we just took off.
Ryan Thelwell, can we do it again soon? You like chatting NFL, I've learned that.
I do, and you call me, I'm always here, man.
I appreciate you.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Being on with you.
Three-time Grey Cup champion Ryan Thelwell joining us at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. For the hockey fans, Sarina back right after this timeout on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, WQEE Radio, and your favorite podcast platform.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me and Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. It's episode number 1051 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. And I appreciate Michael Wynn out there in Winnipeg tweeting the photo. Always love when he does that in his Ice Time Sports sporting goods store of his television. He's got it on Game Plus all the time. Sarina joins us, our hockey analyst. We've lost Matthew Barnaby. Shocked? No. I don't know where he is. I said to Clark, put out a message to all Ottawa area golf courses if they've seen Matthew Barnaby, because that's probably where he is. She's back to talk hockey. And do you want to clarify that you are not anti-CFL?
Yeah, we were just talking about that in the break. First of all, when I saw that I was going to be a guest on the show with Ryan and Matthew Barnaby, I was like, oh, great. Those are some big shoes to fill. Ryan was an incredible guest.
Yes.
And in the break, we were talking about how he can talk about CFL, NFL, whatever, college football. I mean, that's one thing we haven't even really touched on, which when the season starts, we're really going to have a heyday with that. But he is just such a great guest. And we were talking about, I said to you, it's not that I don't dislike the CFL, but I have literally zero access to it unless I search it out. So when
in Florida,
right? So when I'm in Canada, I have it's on everywhere, and I'm more intrigued by it. It piques my interest, but when I don't have any access to it, it's just not very. It's hard.
That's what it's missing, is the talk and the hype, and that's the way that it is. Jake Hughes watching, by the way. He has a message for Ryan Thelwell, who is just off in the casino. He's not here right now. He says, thanks for asking my question, RP. Mr. Thelwell, you're a great speaker and love hearing your stories. He'll probably hear that because, as you've told me, this thing's booming through half the casino here.
And he's talking to Jake's dad, Kevin. So somebody's going to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Text your dad, Jake.
So the EMJ marketing text line is open. Sarina's back to the through the end of the show. 902-518-3033. I want to throw in this comment from Rose. She's watching in Edmonton regarding our poll question today. What's the biggest problem with the Elks? Is it the executive and the board? Is it the Eskimo curse? Is it the coaching of the talent? And Rose in Edmonton writes in, she says, essentially the problem with the Edmonton football team is all three of the above. The board decided to go against 80% of their fan base and change their name without even listening to what the fans wanted to change it to. Then the company treated the fan base who are complaining like garbage. In came the name, out went the money, and Rose is upset. I don't understand her text, but we're moving on to hockey now. Now, she's in Florida, so let's start there. We talked enough Flames Oilers, and we can always go back to that because I know you never get tired of that.
Never.
But who will be better this year?
Edmonton.
Stop. Florida Panthers or Tampa Bay Lightning?
Tampa. And without a doubt.
And you don't even really like Tampa.
I don't like either team.
I didn't ask you who you liked. I guess I said who was going to be better.
Tampa. It's
not that slam dunk, Sarina.
I think it is. Because Florida getting to the Stanley Cup final, I used the term fluke last time we talked about this, and somebody crawled up my ass about it. It wasn't a fluke. It was whatever. However you want to term it, they got lucky. They never should have won any of the rounds that they won. And they just, like you said, they got rid of Gudis and whatever. And Tampa's just that team that's staying solid. They made a few changes here and there, but Tampa's got the structure behind the scenes that Florida has never had and they never will. It's two different organizations.
Yep.
Completely. It's like Vegas. Vegas is not a hockey hotbed, but they put the plan in place from Kelly McCrimmon down, and that's why they're successful.
So a couple things here. John who you've met, says Sarina, the queen of sports. David in Winnipeg says Sarina, the ice queen. We're not starting something here today, I hope. Jen.
I kind of feel like maybe we should do a little contest to come up with the best name.
Still like Golden Girl here, but she doesn't like it, so we're moving on from that. You're not supposed to like your nicknames, of course. Jen at the Four Seasons says, I love it. Well, I'm not done on the Florida Tampa thing. If you want to go from player 1 to 20, plus coaching, very important. Paul Maurice, John Cooper, both tremendous coaches. I'm interested to know once we launch our podcast, because I think that's going to happen.
We got to.
Her and I are going to do a Florida hockey podcast. We're not giving the name yet. We're not telling you what it is. We don't want somebody to steal it. But I think that would go over quite well, because there are a lot of hockey fans there.
And here's the thing that a lot of our viewers here probably don't understand because they've never lived in that type of hockey environment. The thing with Florida is the fans, most of the time, they don't know a lot. But they care. They don't pretend to know a lot about the game. They care about their team. Just like me not being able to find CFL stuff in Florida, they can't really find stuff on their teams down there. Not really. They don't really have writers. They don't really have this. They don't really have that because it's just not a big sport there. So we got this big idea that we're going to come up with a podcast, and it'll be interesting too.
It'll be just like this, but more of it. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in, he says, Queen Sarina and King Rod of Bet Regal.
Oh, yeah, we should have that lid on.
I didn't bring the crown. I have the robe. I didn't bring the crown.
I clearly should be wearing the robe at least.
You want to get it? It's right there. She's going to put it on. How about that?
Did the Queen ever wear a robe? Or did she just wear the...
Oh, yes, she did.
Yeah.
Are you not a fan of the monarchy?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you would remember that.
I don't even know where the top is, so I'm going to pretend. It's just...
There's probably some Velcro stuck. Yeah, it's to your right side. You're around.
It's sideways.
She's wearing the robe. We're having fun today at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, which, by the way, we've been treated wonderfully at all of the casinos here in the Calgary area, but you seem to particularly like this one.
These people are awesome. Come in, there's donuts, Timbits.
Coffee.
I need more Timbits.
Now, it's a fantastic place, and they're treating us well. But I'm not totally done on that Tampa Bay versus Florida thing. Now, let's remember they both made the playoffs last year. Toronto beat Tampa in round 1 and then lost to Florida in round 2. I'm not totally closing the door or, what would I say, conceding that you're correct on this. That Tampa will be better than Florida next year.
I think that we can agree that you and I will never agree on anything. There's not one series that you and I are like,
only hockey related. Oh, TV series?
No, like NHL series, like a playoff series.
Oh, yeah, we don't agree on hockey. Everything else we agree on, though.
Yeah, like we like to watch. We do watch the Golden Girls. Yeah, we do watch that. But I feel like you never know what can happen in hockey. Clearly, this year was, I remember going back like a year and a little bit ago after Colorado won the Stanley Cup, and you're like, what's your prediction for next year? It's like, I don't know. Why do you make me do this? I can never get it right. I don't know, right? Nobody would have predicted anything that happened in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. Nobody. If anybody won some type of hockey poll, it was a fluke. And so, I mean, it could be, but that's the way the world is now. Back in the 80s, you're like, yeah, probably the Oilers are probably going to do well.
Far less teams, sure.
Correct. Now, you've got all these teams in the league. The talent is diluted. You got teams that kind of pull things out of their rear end every once in a while, and they win this and they win that. Then you have teams like LA and Pittsburgh that keep their guys till they're on pension, and it's like, this is why you're not making moves, because you're not. But it's you never know what can happen year to year. Everybody's got to rebuild and what? No, what you got?
Just hockey questions are coming in.
Yeah,
we
fire.
have to take a commercial break.
Oh,
so when we come back, we'll get to them. If you have more, EMJ Marketing text line is open, 902-518-3033. I should mention to you that I will be coming up right after this broadcast on WQEE Radio. I'll be with Richard Holdridge on the sports beat. So if you just can't get enough of RP, I'll be on with Richard Holdridge after this on WQEE Radio. But get those hockey questions in. Sarina's with us one more segment, live from Century Downs here on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Century Downs Racetrack and Casino presents the World Professional Chuck Wagon Association Finals. Be here when the wagons roll August 23rd to 27th. Single-day tickets and 5-day passes available at showpass.com. Century Downs, welcome to the winner's zone.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
One more time from Century Downs Racetrack and Casino in this segment. We'll be back here, though, tomorrow, of course. And Kelly Rudy of Hockey Night in Canada, my childhood hero, will be with us. I've already told him that, so I'm not just kissing his ass right now. Breaking news on this Major League Baseball trade deadline today. The Toronto Blue Jays have acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals shortstop Paul DeJong. And we believe, Sarina, Don, that's because Bo Bichette must be significantly hurt coming out of last night.
It looked like it. It looked like it. I didn't hear exactly what happened, but I did see when he rounded the base, you could see him pull up, and that's, unfortunately, that's usually ligament related. If he pulled up and it was a hamstring, that's another thing, but if it's knee related, like they're saying,
not good.
No.
Okay, so we asked for hockey questions from the viewers. The Flames stuff we did way back in hour one. Now it's everybody else. Where do I start? John Ohm. Actually, before I do that, Wayne in Victoria says, I think over the long term, the last 5 years or so, the Lightning have been more consistent than Florida, as Sarina said earlier, so I agree with her. I didn't ask her about the last 5 years. I'm talking about this upcoming season.
No, but I hear what he's saying. There's a pattern.
Okay.
Like the Panthers were a one-off kind of thing versus...
I like to argue with him.
You like to argue with everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. John says, John in Winnipeg says, do you think Connor McDavid will stay as an Oiler for life, or does he jump ship on his own accord when his contract's up?
Per the track record of my life, he will not stay there forever. He won't.
That was quick.
Well, that's because I don't want to talk about it anymore. So you got my opinion, and let's move on.
Stacy from Access World Headquarters writes in and says, I think McDavid stays. You're saying Gretzky left, Ryan Smith, everybody left is what you're saying.
They did. Those two did not leave on their own accord. Both of them were blindsided. So... hopefully they've learned their lesson, but in this day and age, it's just different. I don't know if McDavid will stay. I think he's a character guy, and I think he's got the quality of a person that will. He's kind of like the Kirby Puckett, hopefully, but I'm a realist.
Or the Patrice Bergeron, or those kind of guys that stay forever. Dave Salima, watching in Niagara Falls, Ontario. She says, he says, hey guys, great show today as always. Any chance you're bringing the show to the Toronto/Niagara region? Argos. I don't know, Kev. What should I tell them? The business people are here today. Oh, it's a big secret. How about if I say nothing's planned yet? Although we thought we were going to be a racetrack and casino in August, it didn't happen in the Toronto area. But I just sit here and talk. That's not my thing. Brian in Manitoba, what?
This backstory behind us being all over the place, a couple of years ago.
I'd love to hear it, sure.
Well, you know it.
I was there.
But yeah. I'll share. Was the fact that a couple of years ago, I said, you guys need to take this show on the road.
Yes, you did.
And guess what?
Here
Look what we've done.
Thanks to wonderful places like Century Downs and Karen. Brian in Beausejour, Manitoba, who says, Sarina, any thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets for next season?
Well, they're always, lately, very up and down. So I don't know what they're going to do. I really want to say that they're going to have a little bit more of a successful year, but I'm just not sure it's in the cards for them. It might just be one of those things where they have to take another year and kind of regroup, sadly.
I'm praying for the best for the Winnipeg Jets, but they made the playoffs last year, which, by the way, is not easy to do. right?
Correct. They actually, they just got so bogged down with everything that was happening with their team. That's where they kind of had that little bit of an issue or whatever. So hopefully they can kind of, shake that a little bit. When you get that toxicity, Rod's just taking pictures over here. Don't worry.
I'm not.
Rod's posing. Hopefully they can get rid of some of that toxicity that's hitting them and get a fresh start.
Ryan in Toronto says, another great show today. From WQEE Radio, Ryan O'Radio says, great show, RP show with the king and queen. Thank you, Ryan. It's very nice of you to say that. Boy, this McDavid thing, I can see it now. Kevin, the medium, do you see this? These Oiler fans, it's going to be gag-worthy in 2 years when his contract's up. Unless they sign him into an extension ahead of time, which, hang on, Rich in Edmonton says, McDavid will stay if Draisaitl signs long-term next summer. Jen at the Four Seasons says the same thing. McDavid will resign. I can see it. Draisaitl going before McDavid does. And Nuge will be the first to go. Yeah, Oiler drama, man. Save it for Edmonton.
I don't disagree with those things. It's just always so hard with the salary cap. Like we talk about Shohei Ohtani, where is he going to go? He can go wherever he wants. The Yankees will pick him up for $500 million a year. It's different in the NHL. Yeah, probably Nuge will go first, but it's apples and oranges right now. Obviously, I'd like for them to stay, but Oilers fans have PTSD when it comes to this kind of stuff. You can't blame them for being upset.
What do you think Shohei Ohtani will get per season on the open market when it hits this?
He's going to be the highest paid baseball player of all time by far. The Yankees are going to make sure of it. Guaranteed.
Will he be the first $100 million a year
if he wants it,
player in North America?
Yeah.
How about that? You heard it first from Queen Sarina. Is that going to stick?
That's better than Golden Girl.
She doesn't like the name Golden Girl, nor do her friends in South Florida. So it dies here today, unfortunately. Okay, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. And thank you to Ryan Thelwell. Matthew Barnaby, thank you for nothing, Barney. We'll see Kelly Rudy tomorrow here at Century Downs. If you want to come down and meet him, get autographs, photos, 11 a.m. Mountain Kelly Rudy here live. Also, Seth Anderson will be with us to talk Canadian Elite Basketball League playoffs as the Calgary Surge sit here and wait as the winners of the West Division for their opponent in the round one, Edmonton Stingers at Winnipeg Friday night. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on Game Plus TV, WQEE podcast and streaming.
Who has more fun than us?